This is Jennifer again. I just want to show you everything that we are going to need to get started. So make sure you have all of this before you get started. First, we have our reading glasses, very important, because if you have a hard time seeing all the time, especially to read small things so you can read, you need your reading glasses. And then we have here some small scissors. This one I use for my patterns to cut short curves. And this one I use for my thread, because you're constantly going to be cutting thread when you get started sewing. Okay. You need your thread, of course. And when you are sewing, when you are in the fabric store, a good way to match your thread to your fabric is to unwind it a little and see if it matches. This is how you do that. And of course, black is black no matter what. Sometimes it's a little off gray, but you can tell when it's really black. This is for our lace that is going to go to this area when we start sewing. We're going to cut that out next. Of course, we have our fabric. That's the first thing you get after you get your pattern. We have what we're going to mark our fabric with. Go around. My son is laughing at the way I have my camera. And here we have our marking chalk. This is not exactly, go around this way. This is not exactly a really light fabric, so we're not going to use our blue chalk. So we're going to use our white chalk. We may use our blue chalk, but not right now. We need our pins, and you want to have something that sits down so you can put your pins in when you don't feel like wearing your armband. Then you have your armband, and this is something that I think is important because when you're sewing, it's good to have your pins as close as possible. And then we have our pinkering shears. They're not like regular scissors. These scissors have a jagged, I'm going to say jagged, but it has a zigzag, so that when you cut your fabric, it keeps your fabric from fraying. But then I have, this is very important, I have my fabric shears, which is about, I think it said 9 inches, I'm not sure. This may be about 5 or 6, but these are self-healing scissors, so they don't need to be sharpened, fist first. They have a razor's edge, so keep them away from your children.
Hey.
And then we have our pattern cutting scissors or paper scissors. This is important when you are a sewer to have a pair of scissors for your paper and for your fabric, because when you constantly use your fabric shears on paper, it dulls your scissors. So you don't want to dull out your scissors, because it's important to have them sharp so you can go through a lot of layers if needed. And make sure people in your family know that don't use mom's scissors to cut paper.
Hey.
I like to keep a camera near me when I get, this is for the end, just so I can take a picture of my work when it's done. If you plan on doing this professionally, just make sure you have your...
Sorry
about this, guys. Hello, everybody. This is Jenny Pooh again. You probably figured out my name, but I'm not going to say it. You have to watch and figure out. This is going to be our portion about the instructions. So let's watch very closely. It tells you which view you're wearing in the front, the back, the pattern number, and the company. 1 moment. Something very important about our pattern pieces. About our pattern pieces in the instructions. The instructions tell us, see if I can get closer, which view you're making. We're making view C. Which number on the pattern we're making. So it says tunic C, 9 front, 10 back, 11 yoke. Which pattern pieces did we need to find? 10 back, 9 front, and 11 yoke. So we found our pattern pieces, and it even gives you a description of what it looks like. And then it gives you a cutting layout. It tells you when you go through the instructions, what it would look like. If you see this through your instructions, that means work on the right side. When you see this, it tells you to work on the wrong side. When you see this, it tells you to work on the right side. When you see this, it tells you to work on the right side. I'm sorry. Yes, I was saying wrong side, right side, but it's the right side of the pattern, wrong side of the pattern, right side of the fabric, and wrong side of the fabric. It tells you how to shorten and lengthen your pattern pieces. And then it gives you a description of that's Spanish. And it tells you a description of what these markings mean and what to do with them. And it tells you your cutting and marking, what you should do when you're cutting and marking. What you should do with certain types of fabric, shrink fabric, circle layout, double thickness fabric, but we're working with the single thickness. And it tells you how to put your fabric down so you can cut it out. That's right sides together. You see here, what does this mean again? Right side of fabric. When you see this white part, that's the wrong side of the fabric. The wrong side of the fabric should be showing up. This is our wrong side of the fabric. See, we're making a tunic shirt. That's a shirt that's a little bit longer than a regular t-shirt. We're making it out of this pink jersey fabric and this black lace. It's going to be our straps. Super cute. Okay, and it tells you how to lay it out on the fabric, how to put your pattern pieces down so you get the most out of your fabric, and you won't have to use too much fabric. So if you follow these instructions, it should really help you. And this is if you have 45 inches wide fabric, and this is definitely a 60 wide fabric. And then it shows you again how to do it with 60 inches. It says 9 and 10 cut on the fold, and then it says 9 and 10. You can cut it this way also, with the selvages or the ends. Selvages means end, with the selvages touching. And then it tells you how this is 60 inch instructions. Hi guys. How to cut your pattern out. I'm also going to show you what tools you need. First, you need your pins. Your pins help you to put pattern pieces to the fabric and fabric to fabric. I like to have my pattern out, the pictures, just to give me a guide of what I'm doing. I like to have a pair of paper scissors. I use one pair of scissors for my paper and the other one for fabric. This is what I'm going to use to cut out the pattern pieces today. You need a camera at the end to take a picture of our work. I like to have a wrist pin cushion so that when I'm putting my pins, when I'm putting my pattern on the fabric, when I'm pinning those together, I have something right on my arm to help me. And my pinkering shears. My pinkering shears are important. I use them to cut out the ends. After we put the fabric pieces together, you will see that. This I also use for little small areas of either the fabric or the pattern. These scissors I use to cut thread. They're pretty sharp, and I had them for about 2 years and they never go dull. And this is our seam gauge. I use the seam gauge to measure seams. And most seams are 5/8 of an inch. So it's that right there. And I use some chalk. This is what I'm going to be using today to mark the fabric. After we pin the patterns to the fabric, we're going to use the chalk to mark our markings so we can put the pattern pieces together after the pattern is removed from the fabric. So first, I'm going to show you how to pin your pattern to the fabric. And I'm going to come back and show you how that's done.